Today we're working with contractions. Contractions are a shorter way to say two words. So if I have my two words up at the top, my two words here are I and will, I put them in the middle smushed together kind of like a compound word, but I know that this cannot be a compound word because it doesn't make sense. So what I did when you do contractions is that you take out some of the letters, which I've X'd out for you, and in this place you put an apostrophe. An apostrophe is like a comma, but in the air. That tells the reader or the writer that there are letters missing, but it's replaced with an apostrophe. So you're going to double click on the question mark so it turns blue, and then you're going to type the contraction. So I have I, and then instead of putting W and I, you're going to put an apostrophe instead. So the way to type this, look at your keyboard and find the letter L. Now go 2 keys to the right. 1, 2. You should see on the button 2 little marks on the top and 1 mark on the bottom. It's right next to the Enter key. If you push that, that's going to be your apostrophe. Then you can keep typing. So we just did I, apostrophe, and then the last 2 letters that are left are LL. And you just made the contraction I'll. So I and will, as a contraction, is I'll. So you could say, I will go to the store, or you could say, I'll go to the store. Let's do one more so you get the hang of it. The 2 words for this one is you and have. You and have is not a compound word, it's a contraction. So what you do is you take away some of the letters, and you replace it with an apostrophe. I'm going to double click my question mark, and I'm going to type my contraction. Y-O-U apostrophe V-E. And if you look up here, Y-O-U, those 2 letters are taken out. I replace them with an apostrophe, V-E. And remember, the apostrophe key is right next to the Enter key. So we just made the contraction of you've. So you could say, you have a dog, or you could say, you've got a dog. Okay. There are a bunch of over here to practice. And then on the last 2 screens, we have a matching. On the left side is all of the words, and on the right side is all of the contractions that are made from those words. I color coordinated the arrows to go with the words so that it's easier for us to see. So I'm going to single click on the arrow so it has 2 dots, one on the left and one on the right. You want to take your mouse over top of the one on the right so it turns into a T, just like my mouse just did. Watch it again. I have a regular mouse here, and then I hover over top of the blue dot and it becomes a T. I'm going to click and hold my mouse and then drag it to whichever one I would like to put it at. And I know the contraction for I have is I've, so I'm going to make it point to that one. Now if you accidentally don't get your mouse right and you end up moving the whole arrow like that, just put it back to where it was and then try again. This time making sure your mouse turns into a T before you move it. And I know we would go with weed, just like that. There are 2 of those slides to practice. So once you're done with that, you may turn it into Google Classroom.